Hi everybody.
What's up?
Happy Sunday.
What's up, travelers? It's Derek.
And Eliz from Means to Travel. Hopefully you guys are all doing really well. Sorry, I'm adjusting things still a little bit. Welcome to the live stream for November 15th, 2020.
It's November 15th?
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
Days go by.
It seems like we have a lot of people on. Oh, Derek's about to open a local beer, so I'll let him introduce that. I don't know, are you?
I think I am. Alright guys, so yesterday we went to the Black Isle, and spoiler alert, it's not an island. It's actually a peninsula.
Oh,
and if you do hear some noises, we are doing some laundry here, and the dryer cycle is going, so
it's been going for about 2.5 hours, so it's barely dry at this point.
It's one of those awesome, 2-in-1 where it does the washing and the drying, which means it does the drying very slowly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, but we went to the Black Isle yesterday, which is pretty cool. I had a fun time. It was nice. And one of the things that they have there is this place called the Black Isle Brewing Company. And they have organic beer. So they have their own farm. They have cows actually on their farm. I don't know what that has to do with beer, but that's cool.
Not Highland cows, though. That was a disappointment.
I've never tried this before. And unfortunately, the tasting room and the tour and everything wasn't in operation because, 2020.
Well, the tasting room was open, but you could only buy stuff. You couldn't...
Well, that was the shop. That wasn't even the tasting room.
Oh, really? Oh, I did not
So that was just the shop.
Tidbit.
So we went in, bought some beers. I got my own little taster pack, and now I'm gonna drink all of them on the air with you all tonight. Maybe not.
No.
Probably not all of them.
Please don't.
All right, so this one is Red Kite. This place has been open since 1998, and this is one of their first ones that they came out with was Red Kite. So it's one of their best sellers, and it is a organic unfiltered amber. So, first sip.
Cheers. I'm drinking turmeric tea, so it's way less exciting. But there is a heart on my mug, so there's that.
Okay. Not bad. Yeah, not bad. Pretty good.
All right, so for those of you guys who just joined, welcome. We are at our Airbnb right now in Inverness, Scotland, and we start our NC500 road trip tomorrow. Yes, Derek wore me down. We are doing it.
We're all in this together.
Why don't you say hi to some folks? Who else is on?
Hello.
Mary Ellen joined from the get-go. Musings at Midlife Laura, I know can't make it, and I've already said hi to those people. But what's next?
Okay. Alan A. Hello.
Hi, Dad. Welcome.
What is up? Hello, Ruth, too, I assume? I don't know.
Good morning, afternoon, everybody.
Nick Barnett. Hello, hello. Hey, guys. Won't be able to stay long as I'm swamped with end semester work, but it's lovely to pop in and catch up a bit. Good to see you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick, for joining.
Yep, and Nick is enjoying our post from Scotland.
Yay.
So, for those who follow my Instagram, I apologize. I've been so behind in, stories. I think I'm still in the Lake District for stories right now. So, I'm trying to catch up.
If you actually know what we want, or if you actually want to know what we have been doing, you can watch my stories.
I plan to catch up, I promise. Ronnie Dove, hello. Purdue, hello, hello.
Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Purdue.
Genta Otter Travels, hiya.
And Mo is on. Hello.
What's
Happy
up, Mo?
Sunday.
Eric Zwart, what's up, buddy?
Eric. Hi,
Karen Simon.
And Erin Austin's on. Good morning from Oregon. She says it's a little early for you, so thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Wow.
Thanks for starting your Sunday with us.
Nick Barnett, it's hard to dry things in Scotland in November.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I don't even know if it would be faster to just put it outside right now versus put it in that dryer.
Or in front of this fake fire.
Yeah, this is fake fire.
This is an electric.
Do you guys like this background though? We were trying to figure out which what to do for the background because it's a really nice Airbnb, but everything's white, so
yeah.
We only have a little bit to choose from.
Okay, Klaus. Hello, Klaus. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
And Okay, Paul Tipton's on. Welcome, Kathy. Catherine R. Good morning.
What's
I agree, Eric.
Eric's worried. I think Derek should start a YouTube channel where he just drinks different beverages and talks about them.
There you go.
There we go. I found my calling, guys. Drinking beer.
Watch it
on YouTube.
Watch it makes a ton of money. You get like sponsors.
As long as I get free beer, I mean,
People
as long as
send you things to drink.
As long as they pay me in product, I'm cool, man. That would be a huge budget item, just like wiped out. That'd be great.
But with the amount of beers that Derek typically drinks on these, they would need to send like a lot of product. It's not just like one can.
I'm gonna need a case, guys.
Derek
really.
talks a long time. This guy goes on. Our live stream last week was 3.5 hours. Thanks to all of you guys for being so participating so much.
Participatory, if
you will, with us, and thanks everybody because we always have so much fun on these live streams. But yeah, just letting Derek go and talk about drinks and beer would be fun. Bonnie's on. Good day from Canada. And Nick P. Nick, happy almost birthday. Cheers to you. I know that you've been finding different ways to celebrate, which is really, really cool. He says, hello to everybody from his last day of being 28 years old. I'm 29 tomorrow. So yeah, happy early birthday. And then if I've missed anybody, I am so
Roger
sorry.
Sexton, what's up?
Hi, Roger. Welcome.
All right.
Okay. Karen.
Nick Burness did say, "Ha." I was gonna say, put it in front of the fake fire behind you. Haha. It does actually put out heat though. Right now we don't have it, but this actually is like a heater, so we could actually have it blowing out some mighty hot air.
You know what's a real fire though is this candle. I put this on my Instagram story because I bought it here in Inverness this week. It's the Isle of Skye Candle Company, and it's the spruce and fir scent, which I'm pretty obsessed with because I love in the wintertime that like forest smell.
Like the balsam fir.
Yeah, the balsam and cedar Yankee Candle vibe. Yeah. No, I have it that way for a reason because I want it to melt more evenly. And this is slightly slanted.
I think it's that we're not sponsored by them, and so she's like, I'm not going to show their brand.
That's not true.
I'm just kidding.
But
joking.
yeah, so I was able to find, if anybody's interested, I was able to find a link to the Amazon listing, so I can send that around too. But this is a good one. I like this scent.
Okay, so Purdue says red kite, like the UK bird, I suppose. I would assume so. It's definitely a bird, and a red kite is probably in the UK. I would assume, because it's organic. Everything's local. They are definitely the first, but I think they might be the only organic brewery definitely in the Highlands, potentially in Scotland. And I don't know. So far, it's not my favorite beer that I've ever had, but it's pretty tasty and eco-friendly, so that's nice.
Yeah.
And they just started doing cans like very recently because these are recycled cans, and they said it's like 5% of the energy for recycled cans versus like creating new ones. So they're all about cutting carbon footprint and stuff, which is pretty cool.
I'm all about supporting that, so that's awesome. I also wanted to say about the candle purchase is I also had to go out and buy a lighter because we didn't have any like matches or anything. And so when we went to...
She's got a real cute purple lighter.
Yeah. When we went to the store, we went to Tesco Metro, and the lighters were at customer service, like with smoking stuff. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say on YouTube, but what was interesting was so were matches, and I don't feel like that's the same in the States.
What about matches?
Matches weren't like in a normal aisle. You had to ask for them at customer service.
Where they sell like tobacco products.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting learning. And then for those of you guys who saw on Facebook and on Instagram, we also found what we thought was going to be Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Well,
it
was Kraft macaroni and cheese.
It was,
but it was a red box, not a blue box, and it did not taste as good.
But it was like still good. It was just
okay.
Different because it tasted more real.
It was okay.
Like it tasted like cheese.
Nah, I wanted that blue goodness, and it just wasn't there. So Magenta Otter Travels says you got to find some Highland Coos. We haven't found them yet.
we've driven all over the Highlands.
Occasionally we
Like,
hear
what the
noises
heck?
in this Airbnb that we sound like cows.
Yeah.
And we don't know what it is.
Maybe it's somebody else's washing machine. Because
I don't know.
this washing machine's making some fun noises.
Yeah.
But
Who knows? Okay, so Nick P. Okay, already talked about that. He's turned 29. What a youngin'. Young dude, Nick P. Very cool.
Karen Simon asks, how long are we staying at that B&B? So we are actually at an Airbnb. We are going to be staying at certain other like bed and breakfasts coming up this week. But this one has been pretty cool because it's like Airbnb with all the amenities of that. Plus they gave us free breakfast.
Yeah, so this place
and
came
Derek's
stocked.
Obsessed with the amount of free breakfast that like he cannot stop raving about this free
Well,
breakfast.
it came with like 20 bananas. Not 20, but
we haven't
2,
eaten any,
4,
so I'm going to
bananas.
actually show you how many bananas.
6 massive.
I'm going to show you the whole bowl of fruit that we had.
Massive bowl of fruit. It came with like a bunch of like the mini boxes of cereal. It came with like a big thing of milk, tons of coffee,
An entire loaf of bread.
an entire loaf of bread, all the butter we could ever eat, a charcuterie
jam.
little board thing, all this fruit.
We haven't eaten any of it.
I actually that's
oh
not
no,
true.
you ate an orange.
I ate a piece of an orange because it just wasn't that sweet, so I ended up tossing it.
And I'm allergic to oranges, so he like never gets.
I never get
them.
oranges. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it. It'd been so long since I peeled an orange. It was like not pretty. Obviously, I need to figure that out. But yeah, good times. But yeah, lots of food, which has been great. Bags of chips, just kind of everything. So it's been nice.
Yeah, this Airbnb has been perfect for our stay in Inverness. We've been here for several nights now.
Total of 4 nights that we're spending here. Tonight being the last of those, and then we head on the NC500.
Yeah, so like this TV, we were able to watch Netflix on last night.
Ooh, we watched holiday stuff. It
Yeah,
was good.
well, sort of. I feel like that's kind of. We watched The Holiday.
The holiday is not family friendly.
No.
Not for kids. Do not watch that with kids.
Anyway, so then we've been also exploring Inverness. We walked around it a bunch. Did our own walking tour that we created a travel vlog for, which will come out when we can make that happen.
That'll take, yeah.
But yeah, if anybody's planning a trip to Scotland in 2021, we're hoping that if they're going to Inverness, which apparently Inverness is the 4th most visited city in the UK.
Yep.
If you're planning that as part of your trip, just having a kind of half-day walking tour that we guide you around maybe will be really fun. Hopefully. Or even if you're not planning on going and you want to just watch it. Anyway, so yeah. Mary Ellen says she loved our Instagram content on Inverness too. Yeah, thank you. It's been beautiful. We've had a few sunny days mixed with rainy days, but people still go out in the rain, and it's made the river here, like the river Ness that runs through the city. That's about a block and a half from where we are right now. Run really fast.
Yeah, super fast.
So it's interesting, like on the rainy day when you would see the water just rushing down.
Yeah. But Alan A has a great one. One of the YouTube ads showed to me prior to your live stream was for a travel wheelchair. Didn't know I looked that old.
I've been getting some weird like YouTube stuff here. Like the pre-roll ads that I receive, and like mid-roll are very normal to my demographic, but then I'll randomly have banner ads around YouTube that are like, date your age, and I'm like, well, and it's for people who I believe want to be dating 50 and up, and so I'm like, I'm married and 32, so this is not the right targeting.
Yeah, kind of weird. Luis asked if he would need a visa before entering the UK. Luis, I'm not exactly sure where you're traveling from, so I would need to know more than that. If you're traveling from the United States, you do not need a visa before coming here.
Yeah.
As long as you're coming just for, like, normal course stuff.
Yeah. The caveat there is you have to fill out pre-entry paperwork as of right now. that is
because
more,
of 2020.
Yeah, pandemic related. So likely that's going to go away once all of that goes away. Whenever that might be. But it's required that you do that within 48 hours, and you can do that from home on your computer and stuff, or on your phone.
Yeah. Purdue wants to know what was local weather like today. He says it's very windy, 20-mile-per-hour winds, and 40s in Indiana. It was cold here today. A little bit of rain, not too bad. I don't know what the temperatures were. Probably in the 40s.
40s or 50s.
Yeah.
It's been kind of like the regular temperature.
Yeah, but I think it was colder today, so I think it was in probably the 40s.
We're preparing for it to get a bit colder as we go further and further north, especially.
Yeah. We were watching the Weather Channel yesterday, and they started talking about the mild temperatures through middle of the week, and then it showed massive cold front coming in from the Arctic, and it turned really blue, and we just looked at each other like, uh-oh. Just in time for us to be on that northern tip of Scotland.
Yeah. We're gonna be chilly, but you know what?
Hey, you know what? Art is pain.
We watched another YouTube channel's vlog of when they went to the NC500 last February, and it didn't look terrible. So
he did look quite cold. Often.
There was a point where he looked cold, but they were sleeping in their van. They were like van life people. So thankfully, hopefully, we don't have to sleep in our car.
All right, Eliz, I think this is a question for you. From Aaron says, trying to budget for full-time travel. Do you think $60K per year with insurance for an older couple to travel in the same manner you do is reasonable? We are not backpackers, but also not luxury travelers.
That's funny that you asked that because
you just did the math.
We literally just did the math, and I wanted to come out with a video if there's interest once we're done with this trip, kind of about how much it cost. So there's a lot of variables to that. We're in probably the most expensive country we could have chosen for this. So there's that. Just the exchange rate, the dollar to pound exchange rate is not, favorable.
Plus, highly industrialized, developed country that's just expensive generally. Even not taking into account exchange rates.
We've been getting incredibly good Airbnb rates and deals for what you would typically get, just because there's so few people traveling. So, I would even say that there's more that, what I'm about to tell you, if you're only looking at going to the UK, you probably would actually end up spending more. Yeah. But this number is going to shock you guys too at the same way. It's eek. So we're at about, for the two of us, all in, this includes lodging each night, food for both of us,
food, shopping, gifts,
not gifts, but
the couple of tiny things we bought, but yeah.
But that's not included in the total.
Oh, it's not? Oh, okay.
Derek didn't do this math, so just let me speak, please. So yeah.
Slap down.
I do the budgeting in this household. Derek just talks about it. Anyway, so this is lodging, food, activities, health insurance, which we're paying for, our monthly health insurance, and we're paying for COVID health insurance, so that is a little bit more than normal. And then rental car. There's more stuff. I'm not thinking about it. But anyway, so all in right now, I think we're tracking at $235 a day, which is a lot. And we realize that's a lot, and that gets you, I believe when I did the math, it's roughly $84,000 to $86,000 per year. So we're eek, we would not be able to stay in the UK for an entire year, that's for sure.
Yeah, but that said, Aaron, if you're planning to, it might be done, guys.
I'll let you make whatever point.
So that's it, Aaron. If you're looking at just traveling generally and you're thinking about going to different places, then kind of balancing out. So because
it's still not remotely dry.
It's not even. It's still just kind of soggy and warm.
So wet.
Soggy and warm.
Yeah.
Yuck. Okay. Guys, these dryers, man. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. All right, so what I would say is if you're looking at traveling full time and you don't mind spending time in some more developing type places where the cost of living is significantly lower, you can kind of balance out the year where you spend a certain amount of time in like the UKs of the world and then other parts of the year in like Thailand, Mexico, etc., where you can actually like live well under your means, so that kind of it balances out throughout the year. Now you have to do what you're comfortable with, but I'd say that that's something that we've looked at in the past is something to maybe pursue. Is if you went and you spent 3 months a year in Thailand and another 3 months in Mexico, suddenly you can afford to then spend maybe some time in France and the UK, etc. For the remainder. I'd also say that if you're looking at true full-time travel, the idea of spending a month or two in a specific location and using it as a home base will really drive down the cost compared to what we're doing, which is maybe staying for 4 days, 3 days, 2 days in a different place, which drives up the price.
If I may add a little color to that, the Airbnb that we stayed at in Portsmouth when we were quarantining, we ended up staying there for an entire month for 4 weeks, and that was about like $2,100 total all in, which I think that if I'm doing the math right, I think that's like $70 a night. And so when you do have those long-term stays like that, you can get a lot more affordable lodging.
Yeah, but if you can like sublease a place for a month or do something like that where you do like a short-term rental, that can like not even through Airbnb or anything like that, but truly doing like a short-term like 2-month lease or something like that, you can really drive down those costs and whatnot.
Yeah.
I also don't know, for an older couple, I don't know what the age looks like, but do expect that your insurance costs would probably be higher than what we are paying as 30-somethings right now.
So, and that our COVID insurance was $400 for the whole trip, right?
Yeah, for about 3 months.
Yeah, and then that's on top of our monthly insurance, health insurance as well.
Yep. So, hopefully that was helpful. I don't know, but there's a lot of different variables that you need to kind of think about, and
we do like to eat out at restaurants here and there too. So like if there's ways you can economize.
Yeah, and Eliz loves organic, so we do a lot of organic and like things like that. So like we're not living our cheapest potential lifestyle. So yeah, Roger Sexton says, interesting that you've not put the heating on. I live about 400 miles south of Inverness, and I put my heating on about 30 minutes ago. Well, we've had heating on, but it does get hot with like the lights on that we have going on right now. So we turned everything off in preparation for the live stream with you guys. Nick Barnett says, Kraft mac and cheese is not what it used to be anyways. It used to taste better when I was growing up. Didn't a lot of things taste better when we were growing up, guys? Like Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid was awesome. If I had Kool-Aid today, I don't think I'd like it as much.
Yeah, Derek's family always doctors up their mac and cheese to make it creamier than what the box instructions say. Because
a little bit of half and half in there.
We're all in agreement. The blue box has changed.
Purdue, I think I saw some UK Europe story about curved/bendy bananas last week.
Oh, okay.
I do not know. Aren't all
that sounds like
bananas,
some hard-hitting journalism.
Aren't all bananas curved and bendy? I don't know.
Nick P says he got the Krispy Kreme donuts he wanted. Yay!
Nice.
I saw that on Facebook. Thanks for sharing that with everybody. We don't have them around me anymore. I went to the nearest one in Iowa. That's 4 hours south of me.
Wow, that is dedication to Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
We've been seeing a lot of Krispy Kreme.
We've been seeing a lot of Krispy Kreme in the UK. It is holding on here.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Like they
I think they're inside.
They have like stands.
Yeah.
They also have them. They have them in Tesco. They have them in like their own pop-up stands kind of things and whatnot. Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
Paul says, does the fire come with different colors?
No, it doesn't.
That would be so funny.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. It's different. So we have a gas fireplace in our house back in Chicago, but this one's like just a fake fire.
Yeah. It looks pretty though. Like we were watching the not Hallmark, we were watching the Netflix like holiday stuff. And I was kind of like, oh, this feels like Christmassy. It's so good. All right, Magenta Otter is responding to Aaron and saying that it's a good question, that you could probably make it work if you budget carefully. Also, really depends on what country or countries you want to go to, I think. Yeah, and I agree. I do think that $60,000 of spend you could make work. I think that is definitely achievable, depending on countries. It all comes down to what kind of countries you're going to.
Like I said, we are in the most expensive country, I'm pretty sure, to be doing this. So if you find ones that have better cost of living, I think $60K could work.
You want to just travel around Mexico? You could live pretty well on
it. It was years ago, but I've seen like backpackers talk about doing it for like $17K a year. So, I mean...
She said that she's not a backpacker.
No, I know. Yes. And so that means a lot of your lodging, like a lot of the extra costs beyond that is going to go into like lodging, food, and whatever your most comfortable type of transportation would look like. And then beyond that, it's pretty easy to like understand what your activities costs are going to be if you kind of know what you want to do in each place. And Derek and I have been saving a lot by getting the English Heritage membership.
Yeah.
So now when we go to a lot of places, because the English Heritage membership also goes into Scottish Heritage sites, correct? We definitely got half off at Urquhart Castle this week.
Yeah, at Urquhart. So, like in the UK, like there's the different things. There's like National Trust, there's English Heritage and whatnot. English Heritage is only good for the things in England, but they have like partnership programs or affiliate memberships with the Welsh, Irish, and Scottish like equivalents, and you get half off basically with those places. So like we went to Urquhart Castle, which is the largest castle in the Highlands. It's off of right on like Loch Ness. It was I loved it. I thought it was really cool to go there. We wanted to go there 2 years ago, but it was just like mobbed 2 years ago when we came here. It was like super packed, and we went there and there was nobody there. Literally, when we walked in, not anybody else was in the castle except for the guide person, like working there.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's like the most visited castle in
Scotland.
Definitely in Highlands, maybe in Scotland.
Yeah, maybe Stirling is
cool.
more visited, but still, it's like.
Or Edinburgh Castle.
Yeah, I mean it's a top one.
All
right. Loving your questions, by the way, everybody. Today, we're here to answer them. So if you have more, I mean, we're trying to get to everybody's.
Yep.
If we miss one,
write
it again. And we're here for that.
So Traveling Nick P says that he bet on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today. Let's go Bucks. And also wagered on the Bears to beat Minnesota Vikings tomorrow night. Fun to actually be able to bet on sports again. Yeah, cool. Actually, that's one of my favorite places to hang out in Vegas is like the sports book area, like where they have like all the big TVs and like leather and bar. That's the part that I like. I think that's fun. I don't bet on anything. I just like to go and hang out there. It's fun.
Yeah.
Catherine R. says, have people been kind when they find out you're Americans in touring, or is it awkward?
That's a good question.
Kind?
We've had such a mix. We have like funny stories. So when our tow truck driver picked us up, he like didn't even recognize our accents and thought
I was Polish.
Yeah, he thought Derek was Polish with a British accent or something like that. And he was like, "Oh, you're American." So like we've had some.
He thought that when I was on the phone with him.
Yeah. And then we don't talk to that many people just by nature of what travel looks like right now and the fact that we're staying at Airbnbs and stuff like that. When we were in the Lakes District, we started talking to another couple at a bar who had a dog because I love dogs. Kathy, you know that. And they had their dog inside, and so I was like, that's so cute. And then they're like, oh, where are you guys from? And they seemed to have no issue whatsoever with the fact that we were here. Derek's like falling.
I'm sorry, you have like an obstacle course over here.
You could have just gone this way.
I was trying not to mess things up, guys.
I'm sorry, you guys. Like, I'm laughing at something none of you guys could see, so apologies for that. But Derek just fell off.
You guys can't see it over here. There's like a crazy obstacle course to get to the kitchen and more beer.
I will give Derek that. That's for sure.
So, whoops.
Sometimes.
And I had my hands full.
When you're in these tiny Airbnbs, you kind of have to like move the furniture around in order to make the live stream stuff work. And
All right,
but
guys.
yeah, so what's your answer to this? Because I think this is an important question. People are curious if.
I think people have been generally kind, especially people who actually are in businesses, right? So like the people that we would interact with who are like business owners or workers at restaurants, etc.
Any
you know,
sort
they
of
are
like
very
hospitality
gracious
industry,
and kind.
people have been just glad to have business.
Yeah.
I would say.
So I mean, yeah, everybody's been
There was
fairly
one person
kind.
that yelled at me on the street.
I think he was just messed up in the head,
Portland.
anyways.
Yeah. Portsmouth. But yeah.
Systems Theory Imperial Stout by Black Isle Brewery, 9.4% alcohol. This is gonna be. I'm gonna nurse this one. I hope.
Please. All right. So Nick says he also went to Darian's favorite thing, spaghetti ice. Yeah, I saw that too. Spaghetti ice and Krispy Kreme. You're probably still on that sugar high. I still haven't had spaghetti ice, but now it's like, I feel left out a little bit. Everybody talks about it. You never had it when you were in Germany, right?
Nope.
Iggy, welcome. Hello from Torre Don Jimeno.
Every time.
Every time. And it makes me feel bad because I can't roll my R's. I've tried for years and years and years, and every time I want to pronounce it right, but I know that I'm not. Was in Scotland. Last time I was in Scotland, I met a man with half American Southern twang and half Scottish accent, so it was difficult to understand.
That would be rough.
That's like when I was trying to understand the guy who was originally from Italy, but had an Edinburgh accent.
Yeah, had been
and I was
living
like,
in Edinburgh.
Can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something about you that's different.
All right, so Aaron is saying that they hope to mix lower cost locations along with others. Not working though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Aaron.
Sorry about how loud this is
yeah,
right now. By the way, it will stop. I'm assuming soon it's like on the spin.
If it's loud. Sorry, guys. So Aaron says it's not really working though.
So I think you could do it. You just need to just do the research on how much an average lodging cost looks.
Yeah.
And there's ways to do it.
Yeah, I would say start by backing out your known variables that are like your givens, like the health insurance and things like that you know that you're going to be spending.
And make sure you have an emergency fund that your emergency fund has to cover like little things that come up, but also big things that come up. Like if you have to fly back to the States or something really quickly, like you don't want to be in a situation that you can't. So I always put a minimum, like a 10% buffer within a trip budget in order. Sorry, I'm gonna go turn this off because it is so loud. But yeah, minimum of like a 10% buffer for just an emergency fund within a trip.
Okay, so Luis says that he's leaving from the U.S. and is a permanent resident of the U.S. but is still a Mexican citizen and holds a Mexican passport. So from Mexico, if you're going to the UK, I can look this up real quick.
It's like still spinning. It's spinning so fast. Okay, hopefully that wasn't super annoying for you guys. I'm very sorry if it was, but it's paused now, so we'll just pick it back up after the live stream's over.
So, Luis, no, you don't need it. You can visit.
Paul, the washing machine was on.
Luis, you do not need a visa to go to the UK. You can come here up to 6 months, just like an American can without a visa. So Nick Barnett says 30s and flurries here in upstate New York. Pretty typical mid-November for us. Yeah, Magenta Otter says, great question about how did people react, and that they were always very quick to say that they did the 14-day quarantine. Yeah, we're similar. We're actually very quick to say we've been here for a few months.
Yeah.
That way people understand that, we haven't been here just for like 2 days.
Yeah, we do. And you're actually right. I wouldn't have thought about that because it's just so... We have had people kind of ask, like, where are you guys on holiday? we've had a lot of people, especially in Inverness, ask, "Are you guys on holiday?" And we're like, "Sort of. We've been here we're on an extended holiday, and we've been here already for two months. So, we just, need to put that like little tidbit in to avoid any sort of like misunderstandings about how risky I guess we are to interact with."
Purdue wants to know how much our spend is without my beer expense.
Actually, that's a great question.
Hey, come on, I don't drink that much, dear Lord.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
So our alcohol costs, alcohol alone last month, and I don't want to misquote it. I think in October, like alcohol in bars, because we use Mint to track all this stuff, so that's how it's labeled there, was like $150 or something like that. Like, it wasn't that much.
Yeah, not too bad. We drink cheap, typically. Julie, good morning from Arizona. Good morning. So
Hi,
glad to
Julie.
see you continuing your travels. Thank you. Ruth Armstrong, hi you too. Sorry I'm late today. No problem.
Hi, Mom.
Glad you can make it.
Welcome.
And Roger Sexton says, as a Brit, I'm not surprised that you find my country expensive. Yeah, a little bit.
It's just the exchange rate for us too. So, it's like.
Thomas Reiser, hello.
Hi, Thomas.
Welcome, sir. We're glad to have you. Paul Tipton's, does Derek get cases of beer or one or two of each brand to try from the local supermarket? Ones and twos. That's what I do.
We've gotten cases of like Thatcher's Gold Cider, but Derek really likes to try the local stuff, so he doesn't. I mean, I suppose if we were in a place for long enough and you found something that you really liked, you would totally go for a case. But
but that just doesn't. Yeah, we're just not in places long enough for me to do that. Like, a case of beer would actually last me quite a while. The most beer that I actually drink in a week, I drink all in one day, and it's Sundays.
Yeah, because Derek's driving. He's the only one that drives. Yeah. Because if we had put me as a driver, it would have been, I think, 13 or 14 pounds extra per day. So
$12.50. Yeah.
That really adds up over time to a lot. So we decided to save that expense, and so most of the time Derek's the driver, so he's not drinking. And then also, like, if we walk to a local restaurant, like we had our anniversary this week. We went to a nicer restaurant that is also has their own in-house craft brews. So Derek tried that, and I got I think like medium or large wine. And yes, that is a cool thing about the UK that I'm obsessed with, is like, if I want just a small wine, I can get the 125 milliliter, I can get a medium, I can get a large. So that's really cool if you're just kind of like, I just want a little bit, or I want a lot of it. I like that about the UK, and we definitely don't have that in the US, and I feel like we should.
Some places I think probably have that, just not a lot.
I feel like you can either order a glass or you can order like a half bottle.
Pot, like a carafe.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge leap.
Yeah. I don't know. I call that a giant glass.
You're basically going from one glass to 2.5.
Yeah. Okay, so Magenta Otter Travels is telling Aaron to reach out if they want to talk more.
Bye, Nick Burnett.
They got to take off, as does
bye,
Nick.
Dara.
Whoa, big jump.
Whoa,
okay.
And Mark's on.
Hey, Mark.
Welcome. We're getting to you.
All right, Nick P says, and the best part about Krispy Kreme stop was that the manager gave me a free extra dozen of their original donuts. That's what I call customer service.
Awesome.
Well, once he found out you drove 4 hours for his donuts, I mean, he's kind of got it at that point. Jeez. But that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yay, I'm happy
Paul
for
Tipton's
you.
is the washing machine on? It was. Eliz turned it off. We're going to have some soggy clothes.
I opened the door, though, so that way at least it's kind of like airing out.
Yeah, Aaron, reach out to us, too, if you want to talk about things around budgeting and whatnot. We can chat. Purdue, I recently priced some holiday homes or RV mobile park homes in the Lake District, $60K. Buy, then rent it out.
So is that how much the home itself costs?
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's saying you buy it and then you rent it out.
Oh, well, he's saying that's another alternative, is to like, I think, or I don't know if that's separate from the question about $60K. before.
He's saying it costs $60,000.
Oh, and then that way you can go visit it, and then other times you just rent it out. Mm-hmm. And there's when we were in the Lake District, the property that we stayed in was managed by a local management company. So I think, and it was phenomenal. We loved that apartment. So it seems like they have some really good, local staff that you'd be able to do that.
Yep. Magenta is agreeing with Roger Sexton that it is an expensive country, but worth it. But she's a crazy Anglophile. I know one of those.
I think Dara might be even more than I am. But I do love England. I do love Scotland and Wales. I probably would love Northern Ireland if I could ever make it there.
Yeah, we're a little bummed that it's just not going to happen this time. We made it to England, we made it to Scotland. We're not going to make it to 95% chance we don't make it to Wales, and I think at this point we're at 100% chance we don't make it to Northern Ireland in this trip.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because I did want to be able to say that we made it to all 4 on this trip. Because pretty soon we'll be able to say we did the whole end-to-end thing, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's something to be said in itself.
Yeah.
We've done quite a road trip.
Quite the road trip. Lots of driving on very windy, narrow, and otherwise dangerous roads. So It's been a lot of fun. But yeah. So Scorpio Sue, welcome Scorpio Sue. Thank you for joining.
And then there's a few other new ones. Hello, Lori Sims.
Hey, Lori.
Julia Daniese. Welcome to you guys.
Hey, Julia.
Elaine Vines. Yes. Excellent. We have a lot of new people, and I know we're still catching up. So hopefully, so it seems like a lot of great questions are being asked. We are all about answering all the travel Q&A right now.
Trying to catch up.
If we miss your question, say it again. And we're getting to all the questions as best as we can. And Thomas says he had Krispy Kreme at Paddington. They have Krispy Kreme like all over the UK, I feel now. I've definitely seen it all throughout our trip.
Elaine Bynes, OMG, I can't hear you. I broke my iPad. My phone is useless with volume. Sorry, Elaine. Hopefully you can hear us.
Maybe it's better now that we don't have the dryer spinning.
Yeah, the dryer was quite loud.
So
Thomas Reiser says that he had Krispy Kreme at London Paddington.
I just said that.
Oh, crap. Darn.
Julia loves Inverness. Mary Ellen asks, how far are you from the official start of the NC500? We're in it. Yeah.
It's here.
Inverness
Actually, the official start is the castle, which is
walking
a
distance.
Quarter mile from here. Less than that, 0.2 miles maybe.
Yeah, so we
Inverness is very compact, so super easy walking city. Mm-hmm. Like all the sites are in like a line from each other sort of thing. It's pretty cool.
We're very lucky right now. We're staying in the city center, which would be a lot more expensive normally. But right now we got a great deal on this. This is a 1-bedroom Airbnb, and we're really liking it.
Yeah, it's got everything you need, and awesome location. Really, really nice. It's on. We're literally a block away from the river.
Yeah.
And a really cool like suspension bridge type pedestrian path and everything. It's pretty cool. So, Paul Tipton, I've not been on the NC500, so just asking, have you mapped it out, or are you just going to drive there and wing it? We are not winging it. We're kind of in shoulder season, and given everything that's been happening with lockdowns and things of that nature, we knew that not every place would be open. Some places might have even gone out of business. We don't know. So we've really been mapping out what places we know are still open, taking reservations, etc. And what we're doing is, because we do have time, because we're kind of resigned to the fact that Scotland's probably our last stop of the trip, we're very open to spending multiple days in locations. So we found a few different itineraries for the NC500 that we've liked and looked at. And we plan to do counterclockwise. So you can either go, starting on the, driving across and then starting on the west coast, or you can just start going up the east coast. And we decided to go up the east coast, so we're heading straight up to John O'Groats, basically across the north, then back down the west coast. And then once we're kind of done doing the west coast of the NC500, our plan is to hit the Isle of Skye and probably stay in Port Reef for 4 or 5 days.
Love Isle of Skye.
We love Isle of Skye, and we only spent 1 night there last time, so we really need to get back and spend a good amount of time to explore it. So that's kind of what we're planning to do is the kind of that counterclockwise route. And we have, I think, the first 5 days of it booked. We have we have one Airbnb booked. We have one guest house, pub, inn type thing booked. And what's the other place we're in?
I don't know, but two things. Hi, Eric Brown. Welcome, Travel Adventures with Eric B. And also, my dad's asking, I believe, if I can turn up the volume on my end. So I'm just going to circle around real quick to the mic just to see if there's something I can do about that. But it does, I'm seeing the audio controls down here, and it looks like the mic's working. So I'm sorry if we're a little soft. Also, maybe it's way better now that I turned off the dryer too, and maybe that was from before. So
yeah, I just listened to it slightly on my phone, and it seemed like it's okay.
Oh no, this is the right setting, so.
Yeah, no, it should be fine.
Oops, knocking things over too. Obstacle course it is.
Yeah, so Purdue, is the car ready for the NC500? Is the diesel squared away? Do you have / need to plug in to heat the fuel? We don't have to plug it in. The car is squared away and ready to go.
Yeah, the diesel tank holds a lot in our car too.
It's like 52 liter.
Yeah,
like
so we're very lucky that we can go pretty far with it.
We honestly, I don't even know. We might have to fill up on the NC500. I don't know if we will, because that thing gets us pretty far on a tank.
Yeah, and then we'll also need to make sure probably that we have a little bit of spare AdBlue so we don't run into our issue from before.
We don't need AdBlue.
We'll see. Mark's on Walter's World. The greetings from Galveston, Texas.
Tejas, I like it.
Yes,
nice.
It was a washing machine. Yeah, sorry everybody. It was the dryer actually.
Somebody was saying, Scorpio Sue, I think, was saying that Excel has some good budgeting templates for trips. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Mark, 150. Derek's a cheap date. Yeah.
That's not bars.
Yeah,
that's not our.
No, it was alcohol and bars, but I think it was just the way that it's categorized in Mint is a little bit tricky. I can't itemize a receipt or something from a restaurant. So if we ordered drinks at a restaurant, it kind of goes into the restaurant expense. But.
Mark Walters says, only slightly less annoying than Derek getting up to taste your drinks while I'm knocking back Lone Star. Probably the washing machine, the dryer. Yeah, that was annoying.
Sorry, everybody.
There's a lot of hellos. Did you partake in Sunday roast? Good fare?
We did. We had Sunday roast when
Not today.
in Ambleside in the Lake District.
In the Lake District, yeah.
And we ordered one of each because you could order a lamb or a beef. And so we ordered both and then shared it. And it was super good. But I was so glad that I asked the waiter. I basically was just upfront and shameless and said, hi, this is our first Sunday roast. So if you have any tips so we don't do it wrong, please let us know. And he's like, really? It's your first one? And I'm like, yeah, we're new to this. And so he told he's like, he had to think about it because it's probably so natural to him. He's like, well, the only thing I can really think about is usually you pair the mint sauce with the lamb and the mustard sauce with the beef. And I'm so glad he said that because the person who brought out the meal was a different person, and they were like, do you want any sauces? And we would have not even known that was what you're supposed to do. So.
No, I don't even know if they said that. I think they might have said, do you want anything else?
Oh, yes.
And we're like sauces?
Yeah, we're like, are we supposed to have sauces with this? So I'm glad that, we had some sort of instruction about it.
But yeah, Yorkshire pudding, delicious.
Yeah.
Yummy. Now I know what it is.
It's kind of like a bread bowl.
It's like a bread bowl.
Yeah, that's how I thought it was.
Actually, I feel like you should put a taco salad into it almost. It's kind of, it's awesome. I liked it. All right, so Mark Walters says, congrats you two lovebirds. I assume that's about our anniversary, which was last week.
Thanks, Mark. Yes.
Happy anniversary, babe.
Hi, Rachel. Oh, my best friend's
and
on.
Rachel Kubaki.
Hello from Utah, she says. I hope everything's going well there.
Kubaks.
And then Andy Lee says, how old are we? We're 32.
30s.
Both of us.
Yeah.
Paul says I need to just put my washing machine on. The difference is I can still hear you.
Nice. So Thomas Reiser says, my ancestry is partly from Inverness. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he was telling me that on Instagram. That's really, really cool. And it seems like Inverness is a totally booming city. So we were looking up a lot of facts
It's the
about
fastest growing city in the UK.
Yep.
And also one of the fastest improving economies too. Like it has one of the fastest growing economies as well. It's one of the most visited places in the UK,
it's one
which
of the
makes
most
a lot of
fastest growing
sense.
cities in Europe.
Europe, yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense though actually that this would be a very visited place, because if you're planning to come to the Highlands to do like any sort of outdoor stuff, but at night you still want like a city.
Yeah.
This is the only city in the Highlands. So like you can come up here, make this your home base, and still go like do a bunch of stuff around like Loch Ness and like honestly Fort William's not that far away, which means that Glencoe's not that far away, which means Ben Nevis isn't that far away. There's a bunch of stuff to do up here. And
I think Speyside, a lot of people do like the Speyside whiskey distilleries.
Yeah.
And
there's
stuff
tons of McKellen is like right down that's like 20 minutes away from here. Yeah, there's a ton of distilleries up around here.
Yeah. So definitely a place to visit.
The Black Isle, which we did yesterday as a day trip.
That was a fun day trip. It was really, it was doable, and like we saw every site that we wanted to see, and we didn't feel super rushed about it, despite our lack of daylight this time of year.
We're down to 8 hours.
So it just felt like a very approachable day trip where you get to see a lot of different types of Scottish things. Yeah. And then I think I also wanted to say that Inverness has been apparently quite popular as the NC500 has risen in popularity, especially in 2020.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And so I ended up going to the Inverness Visit Scotland Information Center in the center of town. I think it was yesterday. And I walk in and I said, hi, is this where you can get the official NC500 map, which is supposed to be free? And they said that they ran out 2 months ago. It's been so popular.
So we did not get a physical
We did not get the free one. We could go buy a paid one, I believe.
We need to see what time they open, because we do need to leave relatively early tomorrow, because we don't have a lot of daylight. So if we want to see the things that we want to see, we need to get out here. We kind of need to leave just after sunrise. So it kind of depends on what time they open. If they open at 10, we probably can't do it. But maybe there's another one along the route that we can hit. But yeah, so that's fun.
Mark, I just read Mark Walters' response about our ages. All right, so yeah, Jocelyn loves Inverness. I remember her talking about that in spades, about how much she really likes it here. You know what's funny is, so I don't dislike Inverness, but it's not my favorite. I like it here, but I think it's something about the amount of restaurants, which is a small amount compared to the amount of visitors it gets. That
I think she's a little crazy, because like you go to like Fort William and there's like 10 restaurants.
But Fort William doesn't get as many.
And then you come here and it's like dozens of restaurants. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot. There's not a bunch of like fine dining. There's a few. There's not a bunch. Well,
the fine dining places are very difficult to get into, and you need to get reservations in advance. So like we've been to a place here in Inverness called Rockpool, and it is very good food. But it's probably like 25 to 35 pounds per plate, and then you'd have to get reservations like beforehand. There's just not enough tables for the amount of people that go there, and we've had so many people reach out to us and be like, you got to go to Rockpool if you're in Inverness. It's like, we've been, they don't have any seats for us this trip.
I feel like this crazy like shadow going on like right here.
It's probably the lighting, right? Okay, stop. Please stop.
Look at that. It's crazy. It's like, what happened to me?
But yeah, I think Inverness is worth the visit, for sure. I don't know if I would stay here like a week and plan to eat at restaurants the entire time. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
I like Inverness. I think it's great.
And Jocelyn and you are in complete agreement, so I don't know.
Jocelyn and I are also the cooks.
That's true.
So that makes sense.
That is true.
So Bonnie, what's up, Bonnie? How you doing? I don't remember you being on, but maybe you were. But she says, is there any positive talk there around a potential vaccine? I think there's a little bit, but we haven't been watching the news quite as much as we had been. But it does seem like there's a little bit of talk about the vaccines and all that kind of stuff.
Where are you looking? Oh, I see it now. Yeah. There's been stories on BBC here about it for sure. I think it's probably the exact same stories that you all are hearing too.
Yep, and Bonnie is saying that she's wanted to go to Inverness ever since she read Outlander.
Yeah, there's Outlander tours too, and Rachel can speak to those if she's still on. She did an Outlander tour when she came to Scotland. I think it was in like 2017. Mark says the Black Isle is nice. So it's not an island.
Peninsula.
Which it fooled me. I thought we were going to an island. Because isle is the word for island. But it's not. It's a peninsula. And so that was,
So there's 3 firths that surround the peninsula. The Firth of Moray, the Firth of...
I don't know. We never knew the answer to this to begin with.
We had 2 of them because we went to one of the towns that had the same name. It was that one up north. The last town. So I don't know. We keep forgetting, but there's 3 firths that go around, and then there's also some rivers on the west side. So maybe they used to think it was an island. I don't know. The other thing that I heard on why it might be called a Black Isle is that in the wintertime the snow doesn't really stick to the ground there, and so it kind of looks like a black island in a sea of white. Maybe, I don't know. And definitely the Black Isle Brewing Company say that it has something to do with the rich, dark soil. So that's what I
know. Scorpio Sue says the shadow is laugh lines. I feel like people are aging Derek on this chat.
I know, geez, 60?
Mark
60?
Yeah, Mark, Derek, I don't think found it as funny.
I did not find that funny. I've not had enough to drink yet.
Oh, no, you don't look like you're 60, babe. Your dad's not even 60.
That's true. My dad is not even 60, so that would be quite the feat.
Hi, Baggy T. Hello, Sam. Welcome.
What's up?
So I think we've caught up. You guys had
goodness.
some really great questions from the beginning. If we've missed any, let us know. And we're here to answer a lot more as we go along. If you think of stuff. We're for those of you who maybe are just joining, because I guess we have been talking for an hour. We are currently in Inverness at an Airbnb. We have been here for several nights, and yesterday we did a day trip to the Black Isle. We've done a travel vlog all around Inverness that will be released eventually on the channel. We visited Ukart Castle by Loch Ness. I was even able to go step into Loch Ness for a little bit, which was kind of fun. And so that was in between our journey from Fort William to Inverness. And yeah, we spent some time stop kicking the table.
Sorry.
We spent some time in Fort William this week too. And so
which is where we were the last time we talked to you guys, was in Fort William.
Yeah, it's been really, really fun to explore the Highlands this week, and we're going to be doing that even more next week as we start the North Coast 500 road trip.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of driving, and we also don't have a whole lot of daylight. So the plan is that pretty much every day that we leave here, we're going to be waking up with the sunrise. Or not that's not even true. We'll be waking up well ahead of the sunrise and kind of get going and out the door kind of by around sunrise. Ideally, we will be somewhere for the sunrise, take pictures and video and stuff. I'm just putting that one out there now so that maybe somebody else has to come with me. And then we're going to go and kind of explore. the idea is that we're going to spend about 2 days per location, with the exception of the first day. So the place that we're going to like kind of stay the night is we're going to stay in Dornoch, which is the first place kind of north of here that we'll be at. And we're going to be there for one night. Then we're going to go up to Wick, and we're going to be in Wick for 2 nights. We've got an Airbnb up there. And then we head over to Betty Hill, which is a great name, Betty Hill. And we're there for 2 nights in Betty Hill. And we booked that. That's actually at a hotel, so that'll be nice. So we're at a guest house, we're at an Airbnb, and at a hotel.
Just to answer my dad and Mary Ellen's question about what day.
Wick is where we'll be when we'll hit China Groats.
So that day is like
Wednesday.
Yep. Right? Okay. Yep.
So we should become end-to-enders on Wednesday. That's when we will be at China Groats. And then at some point we will go to Dornet Head, which is probably when we go from Wick over to Betty Hill. We'll hit Dornet Head, which is the northernmost tip.
Yeah, that's like okay. So everyone thinks that China Groats is the most northern.
No, it's the most like northeastern.
Yeah. Then apparently the actual most northern is like just down the road.
Yeah. So we'll hit both. And then from there, it's kind of a question mark, but we can figure that out pretty easily. We know the general towns that we want to be in, and we already have places bookmarked that we want to stay at. So, once we get to Dornoch, we'll probably start booking those. Yeah. But what I will say is that, kind of like the bind that we're in is that, we do only have 8 hours of sunrise, of daylight.
Yeah.
So the sun sets around 4 o'clock at this point up here. And that means that we do luckily each night have like 5 hours basically to do things after we're done for the day. So,
And also going to bed early is getting easier and easier.
Yeah. Last night at 9 o'clock rolled in, we're like, it's time for bed.
Well, after dinner sometimes we joke, we're like, so bedtime?
Yeah, we're eating dinner at like 5 o'clock because it's already pitch black outside. And we're like, bedtime? Bedtime?
I'm sure you guys are all having those same types of jokes too, because it's just that time of year, right?
Eric B's on.
Yeah, he's been on before.
He's been, oh man.
But also, I wanted to say that Mark says he's just giving you a hard time, and that he loves you.
Well, God, I hope so.
Yeah, no, nobody thinks you're 60.
Guys, I don't dye this, man. This is all natural.
No.
And in my family, this means... No, I'm just kidding.
I hope your brother's not on.
Or my uncles.
Anyway.
Nice hair.
Paul Tipton asks, I think basically the question is, why is it called the Black Isle? And he says, is the black soil peat?
So peat is super important for whiskey and scotch. It might be peat. I don't know. That's a great question. I'm not into the super peaty scotches, personally. I like a nice smooth, like, I don't need it to be super smoky and peaty and stuff, and so I don't know. I think Speyside is considered peaty. There's like a lot of peaty whiskeys from there.
If my friend Jesse were on, he's like such the expert on this. He'd be able to tell us, but...
He is. He did like a whole... I remember we stayed with him in New York a year and a half ago, and he has like this whole map of like the whiskey distillery tour that like, was that him and his dad did or something like that?
Yeah, they're both like
which seemed
really
pretty cool.
into it. And I think, he's tried like all of the Scotch whiskeys at this point.
He's like a connoisseur.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, yeah.
I'll
try it. Yeah,
I'll have a sip.
Yeah.
But it's not my favorite. I like wine.
The last time we were in Scotland, I bought a little thing of like single malt from a place in Edinburgh, and it was fine. It was like tiny. It was like a little bottle. They buy the barrels, they age it themselves, and then they sell it and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. They buy from a bunch of different like producers to do that, and we still have not opened that because it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not gonna open it just for me. I need to like have somebody there who knows Scotch, so I can be like, is this any good? And then I'll try it too.
So, okay, wait. I just lost it. Thomas said he took the train to Wick. That is so cool. I know that there is like a train station. They also have a tiny airport there, it looks like, on the map.
Yeah. Eric B says 19 likes and 33 people. Hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button.
Thanks, Eric. Yes, if you guys are watching, it's really helpful if you're liking the video to hit the like button. The video then does a little bit better. YouTube knows that we're fun. So yeah, if you're watching, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That way we can all hang out more. And then Mark says, good luck to us. Wait, I wanted to say Mark's wearing his Christmas t-shirt. Derek's probably very jealous. Derek has a very strong affinity towards Christmas. And he has like socks at home that say like, if you're reading this, I'm watching Hallmark movies.
I do have socks that say that. Okay. Sounds like... Okay, so... Walter Road. Sounds like the equator moment in Ecuador. It's off a couple miles, so someone opened another place down the road.
Yeah. Okay. And I heard, my uncle told me that the Four Corners in the U.S. are not actually the real Four Corners. And it's even like, the real Four Corners is like 2 miles away on a cliff. And so they like... Yeah, so it was just impossible to do any sort of tourist attraction there. So they literally just like created the attraction in order to drive people there instead of to the cliff. I don't know if that's true. My source is my uncle, by the way.
Purdue, Key West, southernmost point, and you can see land further south. That's funny. So if you go to like the southernmost point in Key West, you look south and you see more land. That's funny. But yeah, getting up before sunrise, I can usually do it. It gets a little bit cold here because what we end up doing is we end up turning off all the heaters before we go to sleep. So by the time we wake up, it's kind of cold. And then it's like, do you really want to get out of bed? I don't. It's like,
Okay, I just have to take a moment for a second because Alan A. wears shiny white New Balances. And so he really picked up what Mark put down there. Derek does not wear those.
I wear shiny
Derek
black
does not wear the dad shoe
Merrills.
because he is not a dad.
No.
Yeah. All right. So again, we're all caught up. We're gonna talk to you guys.
Do you dislike kids on your lawn too? That's funny. Scorpio Sue, so is the NC500 the last of Scotland for you, or are you going to be doing anything else after? So yeah, the NC500 is close to last, not quite. So after the NC500, so the NC500 is a loop, right? So you start in Inverness, you end in Inverness. We're probably not going to finish that little like jog across. And the reason for that is that we are going to be on the western side of Scotland at that point, and we just want to go over to Skye. So we're going to go to the Isle of Skye. We'll probably be there for 4 or 5, 6 days, something like that, and go explore that rugged and beautiful island, which will be really cool. Which, that's funny, is a great part of Scotland. So we'll do that, and then from there we have to kind of figure out what it looks like for days and what's happening with the English lockdown. Are they going to open up after December 2nd, or do they extend it further? The only other potential option that we've looked at is, because it is a heck of a drive to go from Scotland down to Heathrow, and we wouldn't want to do that in one day, especially not before a flight. We have looked at...
Derek's trying to finish this. Thank you, Mark, by the way.
Mark.
We see what's happening here, and it's coming.
So one of the things that we're looking at, though, is that we are looking at potentially if we can drive down to Wales, because Wales theoretically will be open to us because we're coming from Scotland. That might be something that we can do. And then putting us in Wales would position us a little bit easier for Heathrow if England is still in lockdown at that point. So, with that said, Mark Walters says, I couldn't find any wooden nickels. All right. And away.
Yay!
And I just
Oh God,
hit
you
a
just
light.
hit the light.
And another wave. And away.
Oh God, there's more. I can't not do it. All right, so thank you, Walter's World, Mark and Jocelyn. You guys are such amazing supporters of this channel, and we just want to say we appreciate that. Thank you. For those of you who are like, what the heck just happened? Every time we get a super chat in our live streams, we decided the first go around that we're gonna do the wave, and it just keeps going. Oh God, it keeps going from Bonnie too. Okay. Thank you, Bonnie.
Because we treat Canadians equal.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so you guys are the best. Thank you.
You guys are so kind.
And I'm glad that you all come back each week too, and we all can hang out.
Yeah.
And this has become such an amazing travel community and space to talk about travel, and hopefully all of our tips.
Honestly, any travel you guys want to talk about, it doesn't even have to be UK related. I mean, if you want to talk about France, if you want to talk about South America, if you want whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about it. Because we've been to a lot of different places. And, you know, this is just one stop in our journey that we're hanging out in. So. Yeah.
Did your face shadow block out the light in your periphery?
Yes. Clearly. Because it was on this side. It's like I'm like a horse with those blinders on. I see nothing. So Purdue says in Dallas that park built over the highway has some nice artificial turf. Who cares if kids get on the fake grass? I don't know what that's in reference to.
Yeah, I don't know either. I feel like the fact that the word care is capitalized might be meaningful.
But I do think there's the, hey, do you get mad? Maybe that has to do with, like, do you get mad about kids on your front lawn?
Maybe.
Oh, Alan A., we had to move to a condo to get the kids off of our lawn. That's funny.
We actually didn't have that many kids on our street.
Oh, and Vagabond says, just to support your travel, I had a delicious Drama Highland Park 25-year scotch last night. Yum. Nice.
Thank you.
Good job, Bonnie.
Nice work.
Very cool.
And Kim M., yeah, you were just in time for the wave action. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream.
Perfect timing, Kim. Thank you for joining us.
So we've answered a ton of great travel questions today. We've talked a little bit more about what we've seen this week. You know, there's all these takeaways that I feel like we learn along the way, whether it's like big ones like, hey, we can save 50% by getting an English Heritage Pass and using it at all the Scottish places too. And then there's like little things that happen, like we can't get the map at the Inverness.
Bye, Mark.
Bye, Mark.
Thank you so much for joining.
Have fun in Texas. But yeah, we couldn't get the North Coast 500 free map at the what's it called? Tourist Information Center. So it's funny. And a couple more things too is, so I had to go to Boots this week, and I was looking everywhere for
Boots is like a
Walgreens.
Walgreens, yeah.
Pharmacy that sells a bunch of stuff. And I was looking for, not like the face masks for COVID, but like the masks for skincare face masks.
Rejuvenators.
And all the ones that are sold, I feel like at the Boots in England weren't at the ones in Scotland. And so I couldn't find what I was looking for and stuff. And so there's all these things where it's like, oh well, they do like regional like stuff within the pharmacies. You know, we went to Tesco this week, and we found the mac and cheese that we hadn't found it anywhere else, and it was in Inverness. Like, it shows you how many like international travelers come to Inverness and maybe are staying around and stuff. So there's all these little takeaways that I feel like we're learning along the way. That it's just fun to be able to be here for an extended amount of time and you know, figure all that out.
Yeah. So Purdue. Purdue says, where to next? I'm going to assume you mean after the UK. So after the UK, when we come home to the United States, we're going to be in the US for quite a while. And we'll be probably with my family in Indiana for some time. And then in the new year, the plan is to maybe head out west, southwest a little bit. Maybe hit Arizona and Utah and some of those areas. And then we'll see after that.
Yep.
Internationally, I'd love to go to Spain. I'd love to go to Italy, and I'd love to go to Asia.
Right.
So we'll have to see.
I mean, we'll see what's available and what's accessible. And yeah, Mo, I agree. Shame we won't be coming to Northern Ireland. Maybe in the future we can spend some nice time there with better weather. Enjoy the North Coast 500. Gonna do that after getting his motorcycle license in the summer. Yeah, that's
Very
awesome.
Cool, Mo. All right, Kim asked a question though, which is, can you please talk about renting out your house to travel? We've talked about that, but it's a big plunge. I get school holidays off, but we dream of taking 1 year. So what I will say is, being landlords is not fun.
It also wasn't 100% new to us. We should probably...
Yeah, so I've had rental properties in the past, but I've always used like management companies and stuff like that. So it's kind of hands off.
You
it's like an
still have rental properties.
Yeah.
You said in the past. You said it.
But I've had them for more than just the last year. I've had for 5 years, 6 years, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I would say is that, from our perspective, the math behind it was, can you cover your mortgage, your insurance, your property taxes, all that stuff, plus something for maintenance to make sure that you're cash flow positive. And our home, luckily, we didn't buy it thinking about this, but it just happened to be the fact that it was able to be rented at a price that it was going to be cash flow positive.
We didn't know going into listing it what the rental market really looked like in our area of Chicago for a house.
Yeah, for like a single family.
Yeah, there was just so few comps that was probably the biggest challenge at the start, because you kind of do all the math to figure out what it looks like that you would need to break even, and then obviously you want to make a profit on it too, and you're like, well, what does the market support? And then I think we kind of timed it well, because there were so many people in the city wanting to have more space.
Yeah. And we were in the city, but a single family, so there's a lot of good things going for our place, and we love our house. So we're excited to get back to it, hopefully in September of next year, October, I guess. So the whole thing there was that we had a realtor that we'd used to buy our house. We used him when we were renting our place, the first place that we came to in Chicago. He's a friend. We know him.
Yeah, I've known him since I was 5.
So it's one of these things that we've known him for a long time, and he doesn't do a lot of rentals, but he did it for us because it's a long-term relationship. And kind of in that first week, we had 8 showings or something like that, and we got probably 3 or 4 things, people putting in applications and stuff like that. So we were feeling pretty good about that, and luckily we found a great couple, with a small family to rent the place out for a year. And the thing about single families is that when you rent out a single family home, and maybe I'm getting too much into the weeds, but when you do rent those out, you tend to expect that your tenant is going to be a little bit more self-sufficient with things like around little maintenance things, cutting the grass, stuff like that. They're expected to take care of that kind of normal course stuff, which is really helpful compared to if you do an apartment building or anything like that. That's a little bit more high touch, hands-on type stuff. So the good news is that you don't get a lot of maintenance calls. Bad news is
assuming your house
is in good repair.
Is in good condition when you're starting that.
But things happen all the time. I mean, we ran into a bunch of issues right as we were getting out of it, where the basement flooded. We had an issue with the electrical box, the air conditioning went out. All these things happened in the last 2 months that we were in the house, that we got them all fixed, and we kept thinking well, thank God it happened now and not when we were in the UK.
Okay,
right?
so I'm just going to speed Derek along on this one, because I know this isn't applicable to everybody. One thing I will add is there is a seasonality to renting out a single family house that is similar to probably a seasonality behind selling. that you should probably keep in mind too. I think it'd be a little bit different with like a condo. So because we were approaching summertime, it meant that we would start our trip in late summer. So if that's something that maybe you are wanting to start your trip in summertime because of a destination that you want to go to, but you're renting out a single family house, you kind of have to figure out what the market for that would be in your area.
Yep.
All right, Chris Frank, thank you so much.
Enjoy the NC500.
Yay! Yay! Thank you so much for supporting. Oh God, again, thank you for supporting the channel.
Thank you, Chris.
And thanks to all of you guys for loving our wave just as much as we do. I like literally laugh every time. That wave.
See, if we were home, we'd have our little queen, and she'd be doing this.
Yeah, I do. I have a like
bobblehead,
solar powered. It's not a bobblehead. It's a Queen Elizabeth hand that like waves in the sun. Yeah, it's awesome. But anyway, so I hope that was helpful. If you have more questions, you can shout them out too. I just didn't want to like go too deep.
Yeah.
But we worked with a realtor, and I think that was important.
Yeah. Now, occasionally I still do get like a 3 a.m. text message or email about something. And usually they're not urgent, so I can take care of it in the morning and stuff.
So,
but it is something to be.
Use a management company.
It is something to be aware of, that you might get things like that.
If you don't use a management company and you're going to be in a completely different time zone, be aware that you might get messaged at any time of day.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's a good thing because, for us at least, it's not that we're trying to live off of any of that kind of cash flow that we're getting. It's more that is something that we don't have to worry about the cost of our home.
Yeah, well, it offsets
It offsets it.
Like from a financial perspective with budgeting for travel, it helps to offset the fact that we are also paying for lodging here.
Yep.
Okay. I think
Roger Sexton says the position regarding COVID-19 in Europe is still changing on a daily basis. Yeah. And he says Europe is changing so rapidly that it is far too early to make European plans for 2021. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of stuff going on.
And I think
a lot of
Roger's
places are on
in
lockdowns.
the UK, if I'm recalling.
So he's 400 miles south of us.
No, that's right.
I'll just I'll get my compass out and I'll draw a 400-mile thing and try to figure out where he's at. But yeah, no, it's changing quite a bit. And I mean, France, Germany, there's a bunch of lockdowns in place. There's a bunch of stuff happening. So just being very cognizant of what's happening is super important if you're trying to make any sort of plans.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, like we're still doing the like make lodging reservations kind of the week before tactic. I wouldn't recommend that if you're booking like travel tickets or something like for next year and then waiting to book. I would instead be looking still at like refundable stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully
so
a lot of places
booking,
are giving those options still.
Yeah. What I will say is that this is a good time to do the whole like travel hacking as a way to travel, because if you're using points, miles, etc., you can always get those back even if you cancel, right? So if you book a flight with miles to the UK or wherever, right, you should be able to get the miles back, and theoretically right now you should be able to also get back the taxes and fees that you're paying as well. So those types of things are a great way to do it with little downside risk, to kind of lock them in if you can get a favorable rate. Like coming here, we got our tickets to the UK at crazy good rates from a redemption standpoint for miles, because we were flying business class here and we're flying first class back, and we got them for like over 50% off what you would normally pay. So it made a lot of sense.
Yeah. Great questions coming in. And Roger's in Nottingham, so I believe that means you've been in lockdown
for quite a while.
So yeah, sending some positive vibes to you. Okay. Alan A says, do you have a favorite UK area so far?
Do you?
We've liked everywhere that we've been. I really liked the Lake District and wish that we had spent more time there.
Yeah.
I would say, like, I could have spent an entire week there.
We had planned to spend 8 days there.
Yeah, yeah.
8 nights. We only spent 3 or 4.
3, yeah.
4.
We definitely lost out on some
I think
of
we
that
lost
Airbnb.
4 nights.
Yeah.
So.
So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily label it my favorite hands down, because there's so many places that have really, really
Cornwall was
great
awesome, actually. I
things to
really
it.
enjoyed Cornwall.
Cornwall's great.
Kent was awesome.
There's places we still haven't been, so like it's hard to answer that.
Oh.
Kent was a very pleasant surprise, very beautiful, and
I had to like twist her arm to go, and then I think it was great. I had
it
a
was
great
awesome.
time.
I think if you are going to London and you only have like a week to travel, and because it's so easy to get to from London and from Heathrow, you can add Kent in as like a few
Super
days to your trip if you want that, like, yin and yang of city life versus country life.
And Kent is known as the Gardens of England. It's very pretty, like even getting off of the coast. Like Aylesford and Ainsford and a bunch of these other places are stunning locations.
Bye, Ronnie, by the way. Have a good
Hey,
Sunday.
Ronnie, thank you for joining us.
Thanks
Really
for
appreciate
joining.
it. But it is super stunning and very pretty. And there's tons of castles. Like like the place that Anne Boleyn grew up in is in Kent. Which we didn't make it to. Leeds Castle was down there, which we didn't make it to either. Like there's a ton of places we did not go to that are stunning.
Yeah.
And we just
There's
didn't have
beach
time.
towns. Tons of beach towns.
Tons of beach towns, seafood, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Dover was awesome. Dover Castle was super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna skip one question to just piggyback into this one. Do we like cities or countryside more? We like both. We live in a city in the U.S. We've lived in Chicago and New York.
For the past decade, we've lived in cities.
Yeah.
Major metropolitan between New York and Chicago.
So like London for me is like I don't have any issues like with feeling like it's too big or navigating it or anything like that.
She lived in London for a while.
Yeah,
for
and I lived
school.
there during school for a semester.
I've spent a lot of time there for work, so like we've been to London a ton,
so like,
and so we feel very comfortable.
There's a lot to London, and I mean you cannot see it in just a couple days. The whole thing, like I still haven't seen the whole thing. I lived there, so it's an awesome city. Probably my favorite of all of the large cities in the world, and the countryside though is just like a completely different experience.
Yeah.
So again, like having that yin and yang to me just feels really good. And we were really lucky that on this trip we actually got to spend a couple days in London because it very well could have gone a different direction with the way things kind of shut down pretty soon after that. And since then we've pretty much only been in more rural areas with the exception...
Towns or small cities.
Yeah, with kind of the exception of Inverness where we are right now.
Bristol, Exeter.
Yeah, Bristol, we were in... Is Exeter? I guess Exeter is a city.
Wells is the smallest city.
Yeah.
Second smallest city.
But it's not like... There's not like big towering high rises or anything like that we're used to in like Chicago and New York. But I think you're gonna get a lot of like, small town feel that you could go to like the local pub and talk to people and stuff like that in a country town that would be super fun, and a lot of hiking. You get to see like those farm animals like the hairy coos and stuff that you hear about. So.
Yeah, I mean, so what I would say is that for almost every trip that we end up doing a mixture of cities and countryside, usually, because at the end of the day, when you're flying in, you're always going to fly into a big city. So if we go to France, we're going to fly into Paris and probably spend at least a weekend in Paris and then go somewhere else. So like the last big trip that we did to France together, we did a weekend in Paris, then we went down to the Loire Valley, did more like the town, chateaus, all that kind of stuff. before coming back to Paris for the last weekend and then flying back home. You know, we do that a lot with like London, where we'll do like London followed by maybe Bath, Bristol, that kind of stuff, and then back to London and then back home. So we've done a number of those things in the past, and really enjoy kind of incorporating both of them.
Yeah. And it also kind of like varies on where you're coming from and where you're traveling from. So I remember especially when we were just completely over like super long hours when we were first in our early 20s in New York City, like going on to those more rural areas, like when we went to northern Wales on vacation when we were in our early 20s, just felt like a vacation. Like and we kind of both agreed, we looked at each other and we're like, London, because we went to London, I believe, on that trip too, or no,
We flew out through Heathrow,
yeah,
but we
yeah.
didn't really stay.
But it's we're like, okay, well, spending time in another city doesn't feel as relaxing and rejuvenating as being in the country.
Yeah. So, you know, it each one has its place. We like both of them, I'd say, equally. It all depends on what you want to get out of it. Like, if you have a very short amount of time, I would say cities can be nice because it's very much more compact. You can see and do a lot more things. If you're in a place for 10 days, then you can start to play around with things, really get out, explore things, rent a car. It gets a little bit nicer that way. Italy, same way. You can fly in and out of Milan, do Piedmont, there's some really
Lake
cool
Como,
stuff.
yeah.
Lake Como, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do out that way. So
yeah, it's good to have that balance during a trip.
Yeah.
See both sides.
Now, I will say it does mean that you need to pack a little bit more because you have to pack for the city and you got to pack for kind of more rural type hiking stuff. But if you're okay with that, then yeah, it's good. It's fun.
Absolutely. All right, and so other people are agreeing that they love London too.
And Eric Brown loves the Tube.
The Tube is so efficient and so much cleaner than like the New York City subway and stuff. Like, it's noticeably cleaner.
We started watching one of the Netflix shows that we watched last night was Dash and Lily.
Yeah.
Which is the new like Netflix show series about Christmas. And there's like a scene on the New York City subway where he's like got a Christmas tree in his face, and I'm like, yeah, this seems like the NYC subway.
Like
yeah, that seems like it.
I would always get bicycles like leaning up against me on the subway because I don't like to. I mean, I guess even if you sit down, that could happen. But I like to stand. Then yeah, the London Transport
Ronnie, if we
Museum
didn't say goodbye, Ronnie.
Oh, we already said goodbye.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, I still haven't been to the London Transport Museum, but I've heard it's really cool. There's several museums like that in London that I still have not been to.
Well, I've been to very few museums actually. I've been to like Tower of London.
Even though a lot of them are free, we haven't been to as many.
Yeah, I've never been to. What's the modern art one?
Tate Modern.
Tate. I have not been to the Tate Modern, although I hear it has an awesome viewpoint for like photography and stuff. But yeah, there's a bunch I haven't been to.
Mary Ellen Dillon says, I was in London with a tour from school my senior year of high school. I want to go back and explore. Yeah. I mean, it's probably changed so much too. I feel like every time I go, there's so much more that's happened since I was last there. And I've been very lucky because, I studied abroad there in 2009, and it's changed a lot since I've studied abroad, and I've been able to go back several times. I do have a really good friend that lives there too, so it's fun to visit her. But like the Sky Garden didn't exist, and there's all these new there's new subways. Like the overground subway didn't even exist, or tube. So yeah, it's just so interesting every time you go back somewhere. Yeah, Tate Modern is very pretty. I agree, Eric. I went I went in 2009 and haven't been back. So I'd be happy to go back with Derek. I would also like to go to Tate Britain too. And then I need to go to the Transport Museum next time, yeah. Erin says, we always go to a live play when in London. Love the culture. That would be so fun. So different options for that are you can go to like a West End, big kind of the equivalent of Broadway type production. There's a lot of other theaters around London that do smaller shows, and then a lot of visitors will go to see a Shakespearean play done at the Globe Theatre, which is a like replica of the original Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. I think it was built in the 90s, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, there's so much incredible like live performances that you can see, whether it's plays and musicals or music. Yeah, London's amazing for that type of culture. I went to see in 2009. I went to a West End show that is not like the equivalent of what was the Queen Freddie Mercury movie that came out last year?
Bohemian Rhapsody?
Was it called Bohemian Rhapsody? It was not that. Yeah, I saw a musical called We Will Rock You. And the West End, that was so much fun because it was just all Queen music. What are you opening?
Secrets.
Secrets? You're opening secrets? Okay, I guess now is the time that we start to eat some of the things that we bought this week. What is this? Where did this come from? This is shortbread?
Mm-hmm.
But this is the candy that we bought in Inverness, right? So we bought chocolate at Victoria Market.
Alright. So about a couple things. This is all made by a master chocolatier or something like that. A chocolate master.
Who studied in Belgium.
He is Belgian, and he's been here for 18 years. And so this says, Merry Christmas in Gaelic, or Scottish. Scotch Gaelic, something like that. So, milk chocolate with a little bit of white chocolate on it. And then we've got truffles.
So this guy has a shop inside of Victoria Market here in Inverness. And we went in, and everything just looked so delicious.
Yeah.
And there was all these really cool looking truffles, including ones that were like alcoholic, made with like whiskey. And did you get an alcoholic one?
I got one with whiskey, and I also got one with Bailey's.
That's right. And then I got like non-alcoholic ones. I got a caramel, one that was rose infused, and he's like, and I asked him about that because I'd never really heard of floral chocolates before. And he's like, it's a very
rose one.
Here, it's a very delicate balance to make it not taste soapy. And he gave me like a free sample of the violet one.
And I got a pear one. Mine has pear.
And so I'm just so like excited to try this because I've never heard of a rose infused chocolate before, and I feel like it's gonna be really good.
Oh wow. That's weird. This one has like a pear mushroom in it. Not marshmallow.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing.
Totally different thing.
This one's got like a rose gelatin inside of it. It's like a rose flavored gelatin. All right, you want to try this one? Oh yeah, it's really good. I like pear. So anyway, have you guys been? What are your favorite places that you've eaten chocolate at? Because we love Belgian chocolate, so finding it here was just such a treat.
Swiss is pretty nice too, though.
Mhm. Totally.
I'm gonna move on to a Bailey's though.
All right, alcoholic chocolate.
All right, Lou, what's up, Lou?
Hello, welcome. What % of Airbnbs in the UK will accept Americans who want to self-isolate for 14 days during the COVID crisis? Did you have trouble finding such an Airbnb? Thanks.
No, we didn't
Great
have any
question.
issues. Kind of from day one.
We also did not arrive during lockdown.
We didn't arrive during lockdown. We arrived afterwards. So if you're coming after December 2nd, hopefully, hopefully the lockdown's over and you'll have no issues. What I will say though is that we only had one place that kind of told us no, but they said it was no longer available. We don't know what the exact reason was, but but that did happen once.
Mm-hmm.
But no other place has turned us down. Pretty much everywhere's been like an immediate yes, you're pre-approved and all that kind of stuff.
Our place in Fort William did ask us where we were coming from.
They did, yeah.
Because they said, like, we want to make sure that we're not breaking any lockdown rules, which we really appreciated. And then since then, I've just been very upfront with everybody from the get-go and just said exactly where we're coming from to avoid that type of back and forth. But yeah, wow, this is really good. This one was caramel. And I love it.
But no, no issues. So if you're looking to do it, I said that you should have, you know, it should very much be okay. Especially if you're going to stay for 14 days.
Yeah.
And I say that's key because we're always going to we'll always be proponents of people coming and following the rules. The rule is that you come somewhere and you spend 14 days and you don't leave until you're done with your quarantine. So.
And like you literally can't go to the grocery store. So you have to be very mindful of making all of those arrangements in advance and picking the right Airbnb. Making
sure that you can get the, get a delivery window and all that kind of stuff. Because you can't go and you can't shop for yourself. So that would be something that I would definitely say. And then also, Lou, I would recommend if you have the time, right? And if you have the time to do the 14-day quarantine, you might have the time to spend, a significant amount of time here. I would do your first place for like a month and try to do it in a place where you don't mind like exploring for a little while or is maybe a good central location to jump off and see other things. Mm-hmm. That's what we did down in Portsmouth where we spent our first month in the UK. And that was because the first 2 weeks were in quarantine. Then we did a weekend in London. We did a little road trip to Kent. We did the Isle of Wight. And then we went off and we, after we were done there, we went over to Cornwall, which is where we then picked up our accommodations. So I would say try to find a place that you don't mind spending like a month at because, it'll help you get a better price, which to me at the end of the day is the most important thing is like what's your price, what's your value, economic value. And, that can be super helpful.
Yeah. We have a couple videos on this channel from back when we were in quarantine, in our 14 Days Quarantine series, where we talk about how we chose our Airbnb and, like, the things that were important to us. But, like I was saying before, you just have to be really kind of, like, conscious of the fact that you are going to be at that property for 14 days straight. And you can't be in a property that, like, you're renting out a room in somebody's house, which, of course, those things exist on Airbnb, too. You wouldn't be able to do it in, like, a bed and breakfast, necessarily. So just making sure that you find the right spot, that you can get all of the things that you need is going to be the most important piece of it.
Yeah. But no, we have not seen any issues with Airbnb is not accepting Americans.
No. And no issues with that with bed and breakfasts either, or hotels. And you're saying you heard a rumor that the UK government will reduce the 14 days to 4 days with 2 COVID tests. Is that true? It's true that rumor is out. I've been reading. It's not even really just a rumor. It's like I've been reading that as well in certain news sources. My understanding is that the testing capability is now like being ramped up at Heathrow Airport because they needed to like build testing facilities there and make sure that the labs were there and stuff like that too. But as of right now, my understanding is this is not one of the countries that you need a negative COVID test within 72 hours in order to enter. Which there are some countries out there that do require that right now. And so really it's just the quarantining and it's the self-isolation for 14 days that's part of their system at present.
Yeah, and but they are trying to like implement that where if you do come and then you take like the COVID test, you can maybe get a shorter lockdown, which that would be awesome. That'd be really great if they do that. It's
going to help boost tourism, that's for sure. Yeah. Not everybody can do 14 days.
Yeah. I will say though, think about it today that even though you come and you do your, 14-day quarantine, currently the UK, England is still under a lockdown. So no matter what, once you're done with your quarantine, you'll still have to abide by whatever lockdown or local restrictions are in place. So just make sure that wherever you're going, you feel comfortable with their numbers and the likelihood of them having more localized lockdowns in place. Because, would I choose to go to, Liverpool or Manchester? Maybe not, because if those numbers are still high, even if the rest of the country comes out of lockdown, they might still have, localized restrictions in place. So look into that. That we were blessed that we chose Portsmouth because the south of England was very, good in terms of numbers while we were there.
Yeah. Hi, Blaine. Rayleigh Travel.
What up, Blaine?
Rayleigh Creative Travel.
Hey.
Welcome. And Blaine also, his and his wife's anniversary were this week too. So I think theirs was the day before ours. So
Cheers.
Happy anniversary to you guys. So yeah, just to piggyback on what Derek was saying right before, hopefully you'll find our 14 days of quarantine videos helpful that really get into what we experienced.
Even if you only had to spend 4 or 5 days there.
Yeah, so they get into what we experienced just from the traveling perspective and how we approached how we were going to book our Airbnb, etc., etc. And we'll fully admit that it's changed since we came here 2 months ago, and of course there's so many more lockdown restrictions. There was zero lockdown restrictions anywhere in the UK when we got here and when we left. So you kind of have to do even more research than we did, which doesn't sound like it might be as fun, but it's navigable, and especially if you're looking at 2021 dates and stuff, it's hopefully going to be a little easy. Derek, you didn't close the refrigerator. So this refrigerator doesn't self-close, and Derek keeps leaving it open.
Will you call me out?
Sorry.
Try not to fall.
Yeah, you got this. Mary Ellen says your prep videos were amazing for things that you researched before you had to leave the U.S. Thank you. And I know that we were talking a lot about them on our live streams before leaving the U.S. too. So we were able to share with this community as we were planning things, as we were booking things, kind of what the process was like, which that's so fun to be able to talk to you guys about travel in that way. Cadbury is always your go-to, Eric. Yeah, Cadbury's pretty good.
Probably the last one of the night. A Scotch ale.
Yeah.
This way.
You like ales.
I like ales. I like Scotch ales. And it's a good can.
Okay, so for those of you guys who have joined later, we went to the Black
Isle
yesterday, which is a day trip from where we are here now in Inverness.
Just north. It's a little peninsula sticking up.
And Derek went to an organic brewery.
Their tasting room was closed, but their shop was open, so I picked up a small handful of cans that I thought would be tasty, that were kind of flavors that I liked. And this is a Scotch ale, and it is an organic and unfiltered beer, so here we go.
There we go. Lou says, suppose you do the 14-day quarantine in England, then travel around England. Can you then go to the Republic of Ireland without doing self-isolation?
No.
And unfortunately,
the answer is so. My recommendation, if you want to do Ireland as well as the UK, you should go to Ireland first, and you should do your self-isolation there. Because currently Ireland, I believe, double check me on this, but I believe Ireland is still on the travel corridor list for the UK. Being on the travel corridor list for the UK means that you can come from those countries, and as long as you've been there in the last 14 days, or for the last 14 days, you don't need to quarantine upon coming into the UK. However, Ireland does not have that. So in Ireland, if you come from the UK, you still have to self-isolate for 14 days. So you can get around that by going to Ireland, self-isolate there, and then travel around Ireland, and then come into the UK.
So that was the case 2 months ago for sure.
I'm sure that's still the case.
Look that up, and right now I think it's England's not even really allowing international travel generally. I think you still can come in, but with certain reasons and stuff like that. So just double check Derek on that one.
No, everybody, even Irish residents, everybody needs to self-isolate going into Ireland. So currently, still gotta self-isolate.
Yeah.
Did you already read Purdue's thing?
No, I don't think so.
Don't judge. I bought 24 pounds of 75% off Halloween candy last week, just in case Indiana goes into another lockdown.
Well, yeah, I'm sending out good thoughts to Indiana right now because I know there's been some spikes. I know a lot of kids are
Illinois,
going home
Ohio,
early from college. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Mary Ellen Dillon says that these shops in Bruges are amazing.
They are.
And they really are. They're awesome.
Oh, the chocolate shops.
And the thing that I love about these chocolate shops is that they'll give you ones to try. So, like, ours was like an 8-pack that we bought, and he gave us like 3 samples to try before that. So I was like, it's a great deal. Like, you know, I'm sure if we wanted one more sample, he would have given it to us. It's like...
Yeah, that was so much fun.
It was so good.
He was so nice.
And he's so nice and personable and wants to talk to
It's going to be in our Inverness travel vlog.
Yep.
Because I was able to film while Derek was interacting with him a bit.
Such a cool dude. And then the place over here by us also, there's a place called Garnish on Gregg Street, which we've gone to for like some like sandwiches and stuff. And the people there are really nice as well. And like, you know, they, you know, the guy came out and, you know, you'd heard that we'd gone to Loch Ness, and he comes out and he's like, oh, did you see anything? You know, this kind of thing. It's like, nope. But we did go to the Ness Islands, and we did see the log that they have that's like shaped like Nessie. And they were laughing about that, and they thought that was funny and stuff. So it's really nice. The people here are super nice, and they still want to like talk and chat and have a good time. Yeah,
but at least they're as careful as we would want them to be. You know, like they're not doing anything that we feel uncomfortable about. And I don't know if Scorpio Sue, if you're heading out, saying better do something today. Mary Ellen says. There are spikes everywhere, yeah. What a bummer.
Yeah. Vega Bonnie, I love advent calendars. Chocolate for the hubby and beauty one for me.
Yes.
Nice.
The beauty ones are so much fun, too.
Never heard of those.
They have, like, little samples instead of chocolates for each day.
Didn't know those existed.
Yeah.
Cool. We were watching this YouTube video the other day that was this... I don't remember what their channel's called, but it was this whole thing about like, it's November 1, time for Christmas, and like they were starting to like do Christmas decorations. She's like, we're gonna get 2 advent calendars this year because it's gonna be 48 days of, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So good.
Traveling with Nick P says, I have Walker's sausage roll flavored crisps being shipped to me from England.
Wow.
They're so freaking delicious. It's a limited time Christmas flavor. Oh, we'll have to look for that. So we tried one that just sounded so disgusting this week. That was
Worcestershire.
Yeah, it's like the Aldi brand, and it's Worcestershire sauce flavored.
Snackalicious.
And then Derek takes a bite and he's like, tastes like meat.
Tastes kind of meaty. A little bit meaty. Not my favorite. I still ate it all.
I think we talked about this last week when I was eating chips, but like I still like potato chips best. Just straight up.
Yeah. And Mary Ellen, I hope your friend is okay in Tennessee.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry, Mary Ellen. Yeah, we've known people who've gotten diagnosed as well, and it's you know, trying to help as much as you can.
Yeah. But Purdue says, Nick P says, Christmas stuff before Thanksgiving is unacceptable. We, sir, are in the UK where there is no Thanksgiving, so it's okay.
Yeah, and people like are going straight into Christmas right now. And there's conversations on BBC News about like literally the day after Halloween, they were like, is it okay? Are we good? Are we doing this year? We're all going to be okay with Christmas in November? And it seems like the answer is a solid yes across the board. And there's definitely Christmas stuff.
It was a solid yes. I would say there are a lot of people who said like, it's a shame to break tradition. Yeah. Because in a lot of places, it's like the 12 days of Christmas. Yeah. So it's like 12 days prior. So it's like mid-December before you're even doing anything.
I think So one of the big holidays for the Indian culture is Diwali, and that is today, I believe. So that's another thing too, is there are a lot of holidays kind of like in that interim time. Hanukkah.
Yeah. And Purdue, did you guys see Magenta Otter Travel's video on crisp flavors and tasting? Yes, we did actually.
We did.
We did. It's interesting. So we've definitely seen that, and while we were eating our Worcestershire, whatever you want to call it, Worcestershire chips, we were thinking about that. So
yeah, and Nick says, in case you didn't know, Walker's Crisps are owned by Frito-Lay, hence why they look like the Lay's, and Walker's logos are so similar. Yes, we did know that, and they are extremely similar. It's great. I actually really like the kettle chips, though. Those are my favorite to pick up, but they are, I think, like 80p per bag versus the Walkers are like 60p. So I think I have expensive taste, but the kettle chips are so good.
Yeah. So Vegabani, there's a marshmallow advent calendar, but it's only available in the UK because of COVID. They won't ship it out.
Oh, we gotta go find it.
Do. And Kim M says, I feel like people need Christmas cheer this year. In Canada, it's after Remembrance Day on November 11th.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the same day. We talked about this last week a little bit. Same day as here in the UK, too. Diwali started yesterday. Saw pictures from one of my team members. Yep. Purdue says, not this here sauce. Worcestershire.
Frito-Lay. We drove by their headquarters in Dallas last month. I used to work there. Oh, cool.
Nice. And I know that part of the Pepsi headquarters is in Westchester County, right? In New York?
I have no idea.
I think so. I think the Pepsi one is.
Maybe. I don't know. Never worked with them. But very cool. All right, so we have caught up. So, a couple of things to think about. So, we are leaving here tomorrow, like we had said before. We're heading on the North Coast 500, so a bit of an epic road trip for us right now. We plan to stay in probably 7 different locations along the road trip. Probably 10 days on the North Coast 500 with an incremental 4, 5, 6 in Isle of Skye in Port Ree. And after that, we will be kind of running out of time here in the UK. We'll be looking to head back after that pretty soon thereafter. So we're kind of getting to the tail end of our trip. So if anybody has any major things that we have to see and do and along the North Coast 500, please shoot that to us. If you have things in Skye that you highly recommend, let us know. Like we said, we've been there one time for a very brief amount of time, just one day, so we're definitely open to suggestions if there's a lot of stuff that we should be seeing. We've seen the Fairy Glen, we've seen a few other things.
We might go back, though.
We'll probably go back to the Fairy Glen. It was just adorable. It was so nice.
Yeah, so we're keeping our fingers and toes crossed that England's lockdown does end on December 2nd. And we're just going to be, figuring it all out with you guys along the way. Next week, we're likely going to be live streaming from the west coast of the North Coast 500. So we're looking forward to talking to you guys then too, and just sharing about that trip.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be in Ullapool at that point, which would be nice because that's the biggest town over on the west coast, and hopefully that'll have good internet.
So my mom, Ruth Armstrong, says the Dutch have Sinterklaas Day on December 5th, which is a nice way to keep Christmas as the religious holiday. Yeah, and that is an important point too. Is there's Christmas celebrations kind of throughout December, especially in Europe. Mary Ellen Dillon says we're all on our own in our family for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yeah, I know a lot of families are like that, and it's keeping everybody safe. But it sure feels kind of yucky sometimes about when you have to make those sacrifices.
So Lou says, a neat thing I would like to do in the UK in normal times is to be part of the archaeological dig teams and field schools. Can do 1 to 4 weeks. Some of them are cheap.
You reminded me, Lou, of the fact that, I don't think we mentioned this before, when Derek and I went to...
Wales?
No. It was when we were in Scotland, Now you distracted me. Where was it that we came across that random ruin that wasn't labeled off the trail?
Oh, that was in Glencoe.
Oh yeah, so we were walking through Glencoe, and we did this like 1 mile loop trail near the visitor center, and there's a part of it that is supposed to be an old ruin of a house. But then I spotted something up on a hill, and so we kind of like walked off the trail a little bit. Don't do that. But we were just curious, and we stumbled across another old ruin that didn't have like a plaque or anything. There was no trail that went to it.
It's like it was kind of like a dilapidated old stone house.
Yeah, but there was like different rooms and stuff to it. It was much larger than the actual ruin we were supposed to see later on in the trail. And so we're like, what is this? And it's still a mystery. But that was really cool because I'm sure there's a lot of like archaeological teams that are trying to figure that all out, or perhaps already know, but we're able to, work there.
Yeah. Carol S., what's up? How are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Carol. Hi. Welcome.
And Purdue says, have you guys ever been to a Christmas pantomime?
I've never even heard of it. What is that?
That's a mime, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Bonnie, thank you so much for joining. Hope you have a great week too. I think we're probably going to head out because it seems like we've answered a lot of great questions so far. And it is getting close to our dinner time here.
Yeah, plus like we said before, we have a very early morning tomorrow, so we do kind of need to wrap it up a little bit short because we need to pack, we need to clean dishes, we gotta eat and all that good stuff.
We need to finish our dryer.
We need to finish our dryer.
Thank you guys for sticking with us too, if you're still on and if you were on while we had the dryer on and making all that noise. Sorry. It was so annoying. And we really appreciate all of you guys just talking to you each week. Nick Peterson, happy early birthday. Happy birthday tomorrow. And thank you for joining. And just want to give some quick shout outs like Eric Brown, Purdue, Bonnie, Mary Ellen,
Nick P, Kim M,
Kim, Walter's World, Lori Sims,
Mo.
Yeah, Mo. God, there's so many people that I'm like
Eggy.
forgetting. Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm missing. Like I know Magenta Otters Travel was on for a while. Thank you guys
Scorpio
so much.
Sue, Roger Sexton, Ronnie Dove, Aaron Austin,
and thank you for the
Chris
super
Frank,
chats too from some of you guys making us
Paul
do the waves.
Tipton.
I laugh just as much as hopefully you guys all do. But yeah, so this has been great catching up right before we start this big, long, crazy road trip in basically winter in the middle of nowhere.
Darian's on right before we go.
Oh, Darian, welcome. We were just heading out, but thank you for jumping on too.
Hopefully you can catch the replay.
Yeah.
But the big news is that we are heading off here soon. We're going to be heading up to the North Coast 500 and doing that epic little road trip, which we plan to spend about 10 days doing that before we hit the Isle of Skye. And then we are probably from there heading back to the U.S. pretty soon thereafter. So glad you could join us. We really appreciate it that you take your time to be here and everything.
But yeah, thanks to everybody who's been on. It's super fun just being able to talk to you all and answer questions, talk about travel because it's our passion. I know it's many of your passions as well. And if you haven't already, definitely press the like button on this video. It helps YouTube know that this is a fun live stream. And also we have new videos coming out this week. Definitely going to have the Travel Tip Tuesday and then maybe another one. We'll see about that, especially depending on our Wi-Fi connection in North Coast 500. So fingers crossed, we'll have more than one, but not gonna.
But no matter what,
jinx it.
no matter what, after we get back in December, we should have a lot of videos coming out.
Absolutely.
Because we'll have about 14 days of quarantine back in the U.S. where we get to just edit videos.
It's me. So there's going to be a ton of videos on this channel coming up, so subscribe if you haven't, so that way you see all of them as they roll out. Okay, well thanks everybody for watching and hope you all have awesome Sundays, and hopefully we'll talk to y'all next week, same time. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.